Hey everyone, welcome. It's Sam. I'm here if you didn't already know, I'm here with my friend and fellow author Cathy McCrumb to talk about reading, writing, publishing, and more. Unfortunately, you can't see Cathy right now. We have had some technical difficulties. Facebook is changing their layout, and I'm still navigating that. So I have Cathy on audio. Say hi, Cathy.
Hello. Hi, Kathy.
Nice. So I think you all can hear that. I hope so. If anyone's watching, give me a thumbs up or something or a comment if you can hear her. Um, Say hello again one more time.
Hello. Hello again.
Okay. Okay. Great. We have a comment saying we can hear her. So sorry you can't see Cathy right now. I'm sorry Facebook didn't work. Cathy said she put on mascara for nothing. But
Yeah,
um, but
it's such a ripple, right?
hey, I can see her on my Zoom. I can assure you she looks good. So
Oh, thanks.
there you go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for waiting patiently, even with our technical difficulties and such. Um, so Cathy, if you didn't know, has written the soon-to-be-released sci-fi novel Recorder, which is book one of the Children of the Consortium series. But I'll let her tell you more about that in a minute. I'm very grateful that Cathy has agreed to be with us here today to answer some of our questions, even in the midst of difficulties and everything. So I do have some questions prepared that we'll get to in a moment, but let's also make this an interactive discussion. If you're watching this today, if you're a fan, a reader, an aspiring author, whatever, a sci-fi person, I want you to post your questions in the chat about reading, writing, publishing, sci-fi, fandom, or any of those topics. We want to hear from you too. And Cathy is here via audio to answer them. You know, I did say these videos I do, I eventually reuse them for my podcast later, and when I do, that will only be audio. So hopefully it won't make a difference in the long run. But for those of you watching the live video, sorry, you just have my face to look at. But if you want other visuals, go in the links in the event description. You can find more info on Cathy's book, her website, things like that as we're talking. But anyway, I'll stop so you can hear from her. Cathy, can you tell us a little bit about just a brief intro to you, your history with writing, what you've written before, that kind of thing, just your origin story or any of that?
My origin story. Well, I did not encounter, any sort of radioactive spiders or anything like that. Um, I always told stories. Ever since I was little, I've had like imaginary friends. Um, my first one was Sally from Clap Hands Land. That is not the most original of names, but evidently I thought it was very funny. Sally threw the man's hat in the air, and then I would laugh, and my mom thought I was very strange child. Always read stories, always told stories. Took some creative writing in college. I majored in English lit, um, but once I had kids, I pretty much stopped writing. Once in a while, an idea would come, and I jotted down. And what I think 24 years ago, something like that. I was working for I was working in the evenings, and I was driving home. It was about 11 o'clock at
Okay.
night, and this sentence popped into my head, and so I like recited it the whole way home and wrote it down. I love the sentence. It was, it's fun. It was, I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I had this imaginary friend in my head for years, and then about 5 years ago, I was working in a library, and one of my coworkers um, said, you should write that story. I had a dream. I told her about this dream. We were talking about kind of stuff. She was, you should write it down. So I started writing it, and I didn't have a computer at the time. I was just typing it on my Kindle,
We've all been there.
and I email it to myself, and then on break at the library, I edit it on the computers at the library, and yeah, so that was where Recorder was born.
Okay. So you've been in writing and in this world for a while and storytelling, yeah. And you've done some like editing and some like smaller things. Is that right?
Yes, I have. I When I first started writing stories, one of the things that, and this is like really good for anybody who is an aspiring writer, I started writing flash fiction
Okay.
and submitting it to a couple of places. Flash fiction is a complete short
Very
story,
short.
having character arc, everything, theme, plot. in 1,000 words or less. Some places it's a little bit more, but it's in general 1,000 words or less.
Yeah.
And so that really helped focus and tighten the way I use my prose. About, I think Havoc started 3.5 years ago, and I joined Havoc as an editor.
Havoc is a publishing group. I've heard you talk about it. Okay.
Havoc Publishing is we do flash fiction.
Okay.
And so there's one flash fiction story a day, and it's free the day of on the website. They have themes, and every day has a genre. So a genre theme, you kind of make your match, and you send me your story. And one of the top stories that are chosen for the month out of those stories, the winners are selected and they're published in their anthology. So I've been in their anthology a couple of times. I've been published by.
Has it always been? Sorry, go ahead.
Havoc and Everyday Fiction. All okay. So that was a long time ago. I like the stories, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah. Has it always been sci-fi stuff, or have you done a variety?
No. I tend to I lean towards speculative fiction, so fantasy and science fiction. I've written some magic realism, contemporary magic realism, fantasy, science fiction. I've written some. One of my favorite stories was published in Spookity magazine, and that was basically a contemporary romance with the main characters are senior citizens.
Okay.
And it's a very very sweet, adorable, hopeful story. So I run the gamut as far as the fiction that I've published, but most of it is speculative, so fantasy or science.
Okay. I am seeing people in the comments saying it's difficult to hear you. I know. I'm sorry for that. We had to.
Let me try something.
She's gonna try. She's gonna try something with that. We had a makeshift solution to our technical problems at the end. So either speak up or. She's trying to sing. Okay. Hang tight, everyone. Yeah.
Trying to think. Is that better?
Is that better? Can you hear her now?
Can you hear me now?
Anyone? Let's see. Okay. Okay. I'd say also if you can protect your voice as loud as you can, or you know what? I'll try my volume too because if I can, maybe I can.
No, that should be a little bit better.
I think it's better. I mean.
Well, as long as you think it's better.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I'm not the audience on the other side, so hopefully it's better. Let me know if you still can't hear her, but hopefully it's better. They say no, it's not better. Okay. Well. Okay. We'll work on that. I'll have my people. I don't have people.
You don't have people.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. Okay. Well, we'll do the best we can. Okay. Can you give us a premise for your new book and series, Recorder?
Now that I've
like yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You know what? Technical difficulties threw me for a loop.
Me too. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine. So, you know what? Can I ask you to just monologue for a moment? And
sure.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
Okay.
And I'm going to run and see if I can try one more thing.
Okay. Cathy's going to try something? Yeah. No, it's okay. We're all kind of winging this as we go along. Okay. Someone in the comments said, okay, now a little better, but yeah, try one more thing too. Okay. Hey, thank you for those of you watching and listening, commenting. I appreciate this. I'm sorry to all of you that we're having trouble with the technology. Thank you for being patient through that. Cathy's going to try one more thing. I think she's getting a headset or something like that. So I was going to have her introduce her novel, and I will in a minute. But I assume many of you who are here already know. But if you didn't, I'll just go ahead and give a plug for it. Her debut sci-fi novel called Recorder, which is Children of the Consortium Book 1, is releasing on November 8th. That's just in a few weeks away, actually. So I was going to tell everyone, make sure you buy that for Christmas. Get it for your family and friends. buy it and read it. It looks good. I've heard bits and pieces of it. She's We've been sharing a virtual writers group. We've been attending the same writers group virtually for a little while. So so I've heard pieces of the story out of order sometimes, but it's good stuff. So you can find out more about Cathy and her novel in the event link. If you're interested at all in me and in the content I'm putting out, some of you may not know me. I'm Sam Harris, or Samuel N. Harris is my author name. I've been putting out content for writers, trying to promote my own things as well on my journey to publishing, which Cathy has already done, and I'm aspiring to get there too. So if you're interested, there's a link you can sign up for in the event description, a link that has the words Shipper Maker in it, and that's my newsletter for writers, where I send out more videos like this, sometimes writing tips, podcasts, interviews, group discussions, book reviews, and more. Sometimes ones where the technology actually works. That was a joke. Okay. Cathy's back.
I am. So that's that better.
Okay. I can hear you. I'm not sure about everyone in the audience. Audience, anyone hear Cathy? Here, say something.
I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry.
Keep talking, Cathy. Like say something else.
Yeah. All right. So Recorder is science fiction, and I guess you could say a research station goes dark, and then the rescue mission goes wrong, and a young woman with no name, no family, no friends, loses everything she has, but discovers freedom.
Okay. Is it? You'll practice your pitch. Okay.
I've always thought of it as dystopian and sociological science fiction, but evidently some people think it's hard sci-fi. So my daughter laughed at me because she's like, "Mom, how many hours did you spend charting out the effigy, like effigy of these things?" And I'm like, "Well, so I don't know. I still think of it as more psychological science fiction than."
Sure. Hard to classify sometimes. I know you obviously don't give away the whole book, because that's not the purpose. But can you tell us a little bit about just like the world and like who the recorder is, and just enough to get people interested in hearing more of the story?
Well, in this world, recorders are raised by this large organization. It's kind of it's not really government. It's like paragovernment, I guess you could say. And their purpose, they're raised from infancy, well, even before, to document and record and verify information. And it starts out, I mean, if you went back 400 years in this world, and it started out as a way to protect the public, but at this point, dystopian, and so it's kind of gone wrong. Recorders are now kind of like, I guess you get like a notary public crossed with a Soviet political officer. Okay. So they document everything, but they're always watching, and they do have like neural implants that help control these giant drones that follow them around everywhere they go.
Because even her narration sounds kind of like computerized or something like that.
Yeah, and well, they are not to have bias. Their whole point is that they're going to be completely neutral. They're not going to have bias. They're not going to. They're just there to just the facts, man. But in a society where you have very, very strict restrictions on public discourse, I'm really sort of fond of the anti-obscenity law, which they can interpret whichever way they want. So there's that. Religion is banned, and you have to follow. If you follow the rules, you're absolutely fine. There's not everything's fine. But
Like it's like dystopia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Dystopia, as you say.
Okay. Yeah. So interesting stuff. And again, I've heard some of this. Because Cathy and I have been attending a writers group together virtually for a while now, and I've been intrigued by the world and the character. I've heard it out of order. I feel like so. There's parts of the story that I'm still filling in. Once I get your book in a hard copy, I think that'll help. But I've heard enough to make me interested and to make me want to hear more. So.
Well, the funny thing is this particular main character, she's very she has a lot of heart, but she doesn't necessarily know how to like
Mm-hmm.
in situations.
Like a lot of us.
A lot of times the things just go wrong. I mean, she's grown up in this. She doesn't have friends. She doesn't even have a name. Everybody does have an identification number, but it would be, as she says, inappropriate to call someone by their identification number because that would be naming them.
Hmm.
So
Her name is just Recorder. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like her title. It's
right.
Kind of funny because it's like when people are talking to her, they would say recorder, but when they're talking about her, they would say a recorder, just like you'd say, an officer.
Right. More of a title than a name, and I think I'm thinking from what I'm hearing. I mean, like many dystopias, she starts to question that, or starts to express herself in different ways, and begins to break forth. Spoilers, but I think that's fair to share, right?
Well, it's on the back copy, so yeah.
Okay. Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Something goes wrong.
What? No way.
Yeah.
Conflict in a story? That's
I
one
know.
of the major elements.
What is that all about?
I don't know. Okay. How did you get interested in sci-fi in the first place? Were there specific books or movies or anything that just captured your imagination? I want to know about the I guess influences behind the writer.
I think for science fiction, when I was a kid, I've always been interested in what ifs, and I think probably my first real sci-fi that I got stuck on was probably the Star Blazers. Is that
Star Blazers?
Yeah.
Okay.
The old movies version.
I'm not familiar with that one. I know Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate, a lot of Star things.
It's what is it? I think Laura would know the appropriate name. Is it anime?
Star Blazers, the anime. I'm not familiar. Anyone in the comments familiar?
After school, I'd come up from school and I'd watch it. I was so excited by it, And then Star Wars, and my dad took me to see Star Wars.
Okay.
My little sister fell asleep. And I loved that movie so much. Then Battlestar Galactica, and but it's like these are like these big space opera things.
Mm-hmm.
When I found and believe that so I found Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica before I ever met classic Star Trek. But one of my college roommates and I used to sit and crochet and watch Next Generation. Moving on, but I've always liked the what ifs.
Yeah.
What if? What's the next logical step? What would happen next? That's always fascinating. I actually enjoy it personally. But then there was one book that
I read when I was a kid, and it's like The Voyage of the Space Beagle. I have no idea who wrote it or even what it was about anymore, but somehow that was really, really important factors. So most of it, I watched my sci-fi instead of reading it until I discovered Sherry Tepper and Ursula Le Guin, and then Orson Scott Card.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of, I guess you could say those are the things that I I don't mostly read. That was bad grammar. Please don't. I usually do that. Well, I do usually do that, but I try not to, at least in public. I don't read a lot of sci-fi. I read very eclectically.
Okay.
So, but I'm drawn to fantasy, and I will admit I am drawn to Regency romances as well.
Okay. Hey.
Not that I think there's a whole lot of that in Recorder. Just in case you're wondering.
It's good to have a variety of tastes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, just real quick, I changed something on my my screen settings. I'm told they can't hear you better now, so I'm glad to hear that. I can hear you better too.
Good,
so
good.
hopefully this will continue. Thanks for being patient with us. I will post the live video later in case anyone wants to go back and listen to the parts you couldn't hear very well. But want to move on from now. What are you reading currently, Cathy? Just anything that's captured your interest? Anything good?
Well, I have been in the middle of finishing up the book 2 and doing the edits, so I haven't done a whole lot of fun reading. I am reading a book by Dane Ortland called Gentle and Lowly. I just have been reading that.
I've heard of that. Actually, I haven't read it yet. My wife was reading it.
It's really, really good. It's really good.
Okay.
But I've been doing 2 beta reads, one alpha reads, beta reads, whatever. One for C.S. Johnson and her Crystal Daggers series. The 3rd book is Heart of Hope and Fear. And then for Anne Wheeler, she's very mercifully let me read some of The Brightest Void, and I hope that everyone gets to read The Brightest Void. That is science fiction that I absolutely love. But yeah, both of those books are amazing, and the C.S. Johnson's book, I keep on forgetting the real title. I keep on calling it Kingdom 3, which is silly. Sorry, C.S. Johnson, my dear. But that's like alt history, so that's fun.
Okay.
So.
Okay, good. Well, who are the biggest influences on your writing? Do you think? I mean, I know you told us some of your favorites, but are there any that you say would specifically have influenced your writing consciously or unconsciously, whether Recorder or something else?
I actually think that a lot of the books I read as a kid influenced me. I loved the Chronicles of Narnia. I loved
Obviously, Narnia.
The Earthsea trilogy, Ursula Le Guin.
Okay, I've heard the author. I haven't read much of her.
And
is that fantasy, sci-fi?
It's fantasy. They're both fantasy. I loved more than I knew, because I keep on going back to it, and because I have 5 kids, and I'm still homeschooling my younger 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do read alouds, and I've been reading books that I remember as a kid to my son, and we just finished Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim.
Nice.
And I finished that, and I'm like, wow, that had a bigger impact on my storytelling than I would ever have thought. So, I mean, I'm not writing an omniscient story about mice and rats, but.
Or are you now?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think those are 2. When I'm reading, when I'm writing Recorder, I actually go back and I read Jane Austen.
Okay.
Because the formality of language is.
I was thinking that. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
The
formality, and there's a series of books, and I forgot the author, and I left it in the other room, so I don't remember. It's like the first one is The Question of the Missing Head, and I really enjoy reading those. And so between The Question of the Missing Head and Persuasion right now, I think is my big Jane Austen.
Okay. So I just recently took my first foray into Austen. I know I'm late to the party there, but
well, welcome.
Thank you. I mean, I could see how some of these like prim and proper societies where everyone's expected to act the same could be vaguely compared to dystopias, and there's always a character who wants to break out from that and things like that.
Well, so. I think more it's more of the for me. the language patterns.
Okay.
And
Very proper.
yeah, there's at one point, and I think the line was cut from book 2. The recorder says something, and Jean Dubois turns around to her and says, and it's like, really, you couldn't use a smaller word. So
That's just how she's been trained, I guess, or been ingrained.
well, she
whatever.
likes being precise, and why use many words when one word can do? Although she's very
Okay. Hello, I think we're live again.
testing
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Right?
Yeah. Okay, we're live. Sorry about that, everyone. I think it cut me off in the middle. I think it's. I guess it has a time limit of like 30 minutes or something like that. Again, Facebook has changed some of their features. This is new territory for me. I've done a lot of videos before, but they've changed them, of course, because Facebook changes things every once in a while. So I'm back. Cathy is still here on audio. So I guess since we can't stay on for like a long time, maybe I'll try to get to the rest of this. But so I was asking you actually about being published, or how you feel about being published now that you're almost there, and you've made it, but of course the feelings are still there. You know, we still imposter syndrome is there for all of us, right?
Yeah. I think as well. These. I've always believed in the story. Okay, yeah, not like believed in God, believed in the story, but you know what? I've had confidence in the story, and I feel like it's important to tell. And I had a really hard time finding feedback that was actually helpful. Like, this story is too dreary. Is there no end to the dreariness of your world? That was not helpful to this particular story, because, you know, dystopia, hello, it's not going to be, you know, about fluffy kittens for the most part, although there might be fluffy kittens. Maybe I can work them into book 3, who knows. But I think that so the fact that I had confidence in the story itself helped get through some of that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice to have confirmation that, yeah, this story does have impact. It's just, you have to find the readers that you're looking for, that you're writing for. But I found that marketing is hard. I mean, it's tricky. And I, you know, starting out on Instagram, that's just hard stuff. I mean,
yeah. I've been dipping my feet or dipping my toes into the social media marketing world, and I know it's an area I still have a lot to learn about, and I've made some success over a year or two, but you know, the overnight success story is not really what happens. Yeah.
No, what does they say, that overnight success is 10 years in the making?
Right.
So I got another couple years to go.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, you're on your way though. Yeah.
You know, and you keep on walking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So. I was we're kind of jumping around. That's okay. I was going to ask you about what you're doing for self-promotion and engaging the audience and things like that, if anything.
So I have my own website, and it was so stressful. I am not a web designer. I like playing around on Canva, but that's entirely different from web design. You could go to my website, but you'll just find my bio and the page with the book on it, because I haven't figured out how to do anything else. So I've been working mostly on Instagram. I have a Facebook author page that is, I think it's fun. I like interacting with people there. Mm-hmm. And the big thing with Instagram is it's, it's harder for me sometimes because I'm not Nat Geo is never going to hire me.
Okay.
I'll just put it that way. It's, yeah, that's actually one of my hashtags that I use. Nat Geo is never going to hire me.
At least you're realistic.
Yeah, that we all have limitations.
Yeah.
That's one of mine.
Will your publisher? It's Enclave, right?
Yes, Enclave Publishing.
Will they do some marketing for you, or how does that relationship work for those who haven't gotten there yet?
They do a little, but for me, I'm just excited about this book. I really am. To me, when I was writing it, somebody asked me, what's the book about? And I said, it's a love story to people who feel left out. And so I want to be better at marketing. I mean, aside from everything that Enclave is doing and setting up and all the things, like they were the ones that sent the book to Publishers Weekly.
Okay.
And that was just I found that review by accident.
And Publishers Weekly gave you a good review. I saw it.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's impressive.
They said that people who want to read hard sci-fi with heart should snap it up.
Sci-Fi with heart. Publishers Weekly said that. So that's
Yeah. So but I feel very strongly that about the story, and I want to be able to do my part in getting it out there. And I think that's good for any author, whether you're going, self-publishing or a small press or even a large press. Mm-hmm. You have to be excited about your own story.
Definitely.
So
makes sense. Okay. Thank you. How did you find the right publisher? Like, can you tell us about the process of finding Enclave, and just did you give a lot of submissions or what?
I have a very strange story with this. So when I first started writing and I started sending in flash fiction to various places, and I thought, well, so I was going to write this story about this recorder, right? Because it was based on 2 dreams that I'd had and that one line from when I was, 24 years ago. And I'm like, well, my goal for recorder was 15,000 words. Okay. I've kind of passed that now.
15 or 50?
15. Okay. 15,000. It's going to be the longest thing I'd ever written.
Okay.
It's going to be 15,000 words. And I got about 10,000 words in and realized, no, this is actually a book, not a short story. And so then I went through the library. I worked in a library, and I went through and I pulled all of my favorite authors off the shelves, and I looked up who their agents were.
Okay.
And half of my favorite authors were represented by Steve Lobby. And so I started following Steve Lobby's blog, and I'm like, yeah. And then, Enclave and everything. I thought that's really cool. So a year and a half ago or so, when quarantine hit, Realm Makers went digital. They went online.
Realm Makers is like I know what it is, but it's a conference. It's I know they have a Facebook group too. An organization for writers.
It's for speculative fiction writers, specifically people of faith and Christian speculative fiction writers. Okay. So when they went virtual, they're like, I'm sorry, we're going virtual, but what we're going to do is everybody's half price for because you paid for going to the conference. It's going to be half price. If you want to gift half of your ticket to someone else, and then they can be your 2 for 1.
Nice.
That's great. So I happened to be online when someone did the 2 for 1, and someone in a writing group that I was in pinged me and said, hey, check it out. This guy is saying, hey, anybody want to have the half of my ticket? And so I showed up and I got there first. So that was the only way I could have gone. Then the middle of the night, I checked my email, and there was like, opening up, pitch to Steve Lobby. And I'm like, okay, middle of the night, I'm going to get it now. So I just took it. And by the morning, when I got up in the morning and had my coffee, he was already filled up. So I happened to be online at the right time. I happened to be checking my email at the right time. When I pitched to him and to a small press,
Okay.
and both of them, I only pitched those 2 places. So I'd never pitched anything before. This is my first book.
Wow,
You're not
okay.
supposed to pitch your first book. I pitched to both of them. Both of them asked for a full manuscript, and both of them gave me an offer.
That's awesome. I didn't realize you had 2 offers.
Yeah, I had 2 offers.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You're turning down offers.
Yeah, I had
to turn down one.
Yeah, I only had to turn on one.
Oh.
Right? I know,
Okay.
right? Everybody's like playing the small violins for, oh, you only had to turn down one. I'm so sad for you. No, it was funny because my phone wasn't charged that morning, and I turned it off to charge it. And I got an email from Steve Lobby, and it was like, you need to answer your phone. And I messaged one of my friends. I'm all panicking. I'm all, what am I going to do? He's going to tell me he doesn't want the book. I'm going to cry. And she's like, they don't call you for that, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
It's awesome. Wow.
It's funny.
It sounds like there's a little bit of luck, but you also put in the work and did your research and had a really good product to sell also. That really turned out.
I don't think it was luck. I think it was God.
Yeah, poor choice of words, perhaps on my part, but yes. Yeah, I'd agree with you. That's awesome.
Yeah. What is it? Of course, I forget things when I'm talking and being recorded. Anyway, keep on talking.
Okay. Great. So I'm just curious. Like, is it only going to be available online, or will it be like in bookstores and stuff? Like how does? And then I guess I'm wondering, like, how big is Enclave? How far does this reach? I don't know if you're going to be like world famous next month, but
I don't think I'm going to be world famous next month.
Maybe by December.
Interesting. If I am world famous, then I don't know what I would do. But anyway, Enclave. I don't know if it's going to be in bookstores. I really don't. I know that you could order it from Barnes & Noble and Amazon and Walmart and ChristianBook.com.
So the major distributors, yeah.
And, a lot of distributors. I do know that, I know because I found it by accident that it's in a Canadian bookstore as well.
Hey.
And it's going to be available in Australia.
Wow. So it is getting around, it sounds like.
Yeah. So, it would be really great if it did really super well. That would be amazing, right?
So you're already an international author, maybe soon an international bestseller. We'll see.
Yes, and I was actually published in a book from an Australian press for an anthology, but I don't really talk about that much because it turns out the anthology was like the press took a turn to the dark side, and so I'm like, we'll
leave it at that for now. Okay, great. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. I knew it was big getting published, but hearing that it's all the places that I didn't realize that. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. It's I don't understand it yet.
That's okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you're still in the early stages. Hasn't officially happened yet, but almost. November 8th, right?
November. I just went blank.
That's what, 3 weeks?
Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Okay, it's about 3 weeks. It's not that long. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's, oh my gosh. Okay, I won't have a panic attack here on.
Nope. Sorry.
Talking with you. Yeah.
That's at 3 weeks. I meant 3 months. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So wow, okay, I'm gonna close that calendar that I opened up to check really quick, so I won't have a panic attack here talking to you.
If you can tell us, what are your biggest struggles in the as far as the craft of writing or editing? Like, what's the hardest part of the process for you?
Right now, I heard somebody say at Role Makers that the hardest part is both their favorite part and their hardest part is whatever they're doing right now at that time.
That's fair. Okay.
So I actually like editing, but it's also very difficult. And right now I'm editing book 2. I'm hoping to send it to Enclave on this weekend. That's my goal.
Okay.
Shh, don't tell them.
Okay.
So
So whatever you're currently working on is the hardest thing. I get that because
yes.
once you're in it, you're like, no, I've been in the editing.
Yeah.
I've been in the editing. Yeah, I've been in what I call editing in purgatory lately, for my book. So I'm there with you. I'm like, I like it.
Well,
I want to do
think
this, but it's hard.
one of what my dear friend who is editing my book for me right now sent me something that the trick of editing is to edit like a reader, not like a writer. And that
Okay.
makes sense because it's the art of refining it. My favorite thing is when I'm drafting and it just flows.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you sit down and it's just like the story just takes you away. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing. The hardest thing is when that's not happening.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask you. Well, similar question. I was going to ask you, what's your biggest strength in writing, or what's the one thing your stories do really well? I mean, there's more than one thing, but what would you say is like the one focus there?
I think I'm good at characters.
I'd say so too, from what I've heard.
I think I'm good at characters. There's some characters that for one reason or other are very difficult to write. You know what, I take it back. I know what the hardest thing is now about writing, and that is writing a sequel on a deadline, because
Okay.
I've never done that before. I've
Okay.
never done
It's new.
something big on a deadline.
It's new. Okay. Good to know. Do you have, I'm putting you on the spot maybe, but what's a writing tip you can offer that maybe most people overlook or don't know? Any wise advice from someone who's made it?
Go deep.
Okay.
Go deep. And I mean, this probably doesn't work if you're actually writing omniscient, or if you're writing, but if you're writing third person, go deep. Okay. Pull out your filter words. Very rarely do you ever need a thought, felt, seen, heard. Very rarely. It's only when that action of thinking, feeling, hearing, seeing is the primary focus of that particular moment.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was a few different pieces of advice in there, I think, but one was the filter word is more practical advice, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a practical advice, and that's one of the ways you do go deep. So, if you're writing third and you're already in that third point of view, I actually like writing third.
But Recorder has at least some first person, right?
Recorder is first person.
Yeah.
There are I think 8 chapters that are not from her point of view, and they're each from a different person's point of view.
Okay.
And those are in third. So, okay. But everything that she goes through is in everything in her story is in first. Yeah. Everything that's not in her story is in third. But yeah, go deep. That would be my biggest thing.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. I know you've alluded to book 2, or you've been mentioning book 2. I always ask, what do you have in the works now or in the future? So you have a 3-book deal, is that right?
Yes, I have a trilogy.
Okay. Any plans after that for more or other stories? I mean, I know it's not official yet, but is there anything else you have in the works?
Yes.
Can't share too much yet?
And can't share too much yet.
That's okay.
But I have a, I guess you could say, companion novel for this, but I don't know that Enclave is necessarily going to want it.
Okay.
But and that's my playground. That's where I go to have fun. Okay. And I have a couple of fantasy stories, where it's just like it's a break from the super tech type of great. I don't think I'm very techy in the story. It's because it's about the people, but I do tend to like can you know Star Trek, right? What do they call the injectors Bones always has them, right? In the arm, whatever those things. So hours of research to find out, yes, MIT has those in development. And
Okay.
so I was like, but I'm like, can I use them? Can I use them? What would I call them? And so like, instead of doing that, I can just say, and then the dragons, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So whenever you can say, and then the dragons came, that's cool.
It's
I
good
mean,
to
I
have
have to say.
it's good to have a playground. Yeah.
Yes, that's my playground.
Okay. Cathy, thank you for being here. I'm going to wrap up because, I mean, with difficulties and pauses, we've been here about an hour. I want to value your time, too, and the time of our audience. Where can people follow you and your work online if they're interested in seeing more?
I'm on Instagram at Cathy McCrumb Author.
Okay.
And I am also on Facebook at Cathy McCrumb Author. There's a dot in there somewhere. I think there's Cathy McCrumb .author, might be.
Instagram, and Facebook, and of course they can buy the book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, straight from Enclave, anything. Okay.
Yeah. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Yeah, I was like, one of my friends messaged me, "Sheldon, did you know your book's for sale at Walmart?" And I'm all, "Get out, is it?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, that was really trippy. I don't know why that was more trippy than the other ones, but it really was.
Okay. Wow. That's great. So everyone, Recorder comes out November 8th in about just a few weeks.
I think it's the 9th. It's a Tuesday.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I probably told you the wrong day because I probably got my calendar wrong.
I thought I looked it up. I think I looked it up on the website. Anyway, comes out soon in November.
Yes, soon.
In November. So buy it for your friends for Christmas.
It's a great Christmas present for your people who love sci-fi with art.
Anyway, yeah. So
or hard sci-fi.
Be on the lookout for that. Thank you for watching, for being here today. If you're interested in more stuff from content for writers, like my page, Samuel and Harris, for future discussions and content for writers. You can sign up for my mailing list at the Chippermaker link there in the event description. When you sign up, you'll get a free sample of Fractured Heroes, my story, and a few of the favorite scenes I think you'll enjoy. And go by Recorder on November 8th or 9th or whatever it is. Give it to all your friends for Christmas and share it around because it's great. Thank you for watching today. Thank you, Cathy, for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for listening.
I'm so glad we made this work eventually. So thank you for your time. Have a great weekend and keep writing, everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm glad that the technology wasn't too much of an encroachment on our time. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.